Hello trainers, Ganeto here, and today we're gonna dive into Garden Cup Team Builder. Yeah, that's gonna be a very useful infographic for you to follow, and you're gonna build a successful and effective team no matter what Pokemon you're gonna use from each category. Okay, no matter what, but yeah, you get the general idea. Anyways, be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel because it helps me make more videos like this, and that's super awesome for the community that we have built over here on this channel, which can expand even more, and that makes a lot of sense, right? So click that subscribe button, and now let's dive into the video. We have the Garden Cup, which is February's Silph Arena's themed cup, and we have a very balanced meta so far. Let's see together what I mean. So you have to use Pokemon that they can use moves like Psychic, Fighting, Fire, Electric, and Flying type. You're gonna use Pokemon that only know those moves. What does that mean though? You cannot use something like a Venusaur, which is part poison, part grass, but not because of its typing, but because it can learn only moves that are not eligible in the meta. It can only use moves like grass and poison, so you cannot use it at all in the meta. But you can use something like an Empoleon, which has access to Drill Peck, and Drill Peck gives it the permission to participate in. You're gonna see that you are not obliged to use that Drill Peck on your Empoleon. You can also use it with Waterfall, Hydro Cannon, and Blizzard. So take that in mind. Now let's see the banned Pokemon. You are gonna have the ban on the fairy typing, which makes sense. Let's be honest, yeah, everyone hates fairy types. Diggersby, Bastiodon, Scrafty, Chansey, Lickitung, Medicham, Umbreon, Obstagoon, Mandibuzz, Volibee, Stunfisk, Unova, Hypno, Wobbuffet, Kofagrigus, Tropius, Pachirisu, Lantern, Altaria, Megas, Legendaries and Mythicals, and of course the Shadow Pokemon are also banned. With that said, let's dive into the first category that I have built up for you in the infographic. Let's start, trainers, with the water section over here, and we have the Rainy Castform, which is the leader of the section, I believe, since it has access to Thunder and it is eligible for the cup. Yeah, Thunder will help even against its comrades, will help against other flyers, and Weather Ball will give it coverage for neutral threats or hit hard at Steelix or Ninetales, which are pretty high in the meta currently. And with Water Gun, the damage really adds up. Next up, we have the Pelipper and the Mantine, two Pokemon that share the same typing, but they are completely different, because Mantine is a debuffer that has access to both Wing Attack but also Bubble, and Bubble will be much more interesting, to be honest, because you can farm down certain threats and then debuff the next Pokemon that your opponent has, or even go for back-to-back Ice Beams and then finish them off. Also Pelipper, on the other hand, Pelipper is just gonna use a spammer combo, the Wing Attack, a Weather Ball, and also has access to a nuke move, the Hurricane, which can just destroy whatever, but you have to land it. And because Pelipper is not that bulky as the Mantine, it feels like it is not gonna perform that good. But if you can bait correctly, or if your opponent is out of shields, so consider using that Pelipper as a closer, and Mantine much more like a safe swap or a debuffer to grab some shields and stuff like that. Farm down the opponent and then finish them off. We have also on the same section the Alomomola and the Empoleon, two other bulky water type Pokemon. Okay, it is not that bulky that Empoleon, but it is still type which resists a lot. But also fighters are also gonna be around, so stay tuned for that, and perhaps something like a flying water type might help you a little bit more. It can also handle those ground types. It might be weak to those, but the ground types in the current meta do not know a ground fast attack, so you're gonna be fairly good about that. And with Waterfall dealing huge damage, huge stab damage, alongside the Drill Peck and the Hydro Cannon, you're gonna be in a very good position. Alomomola is a thick beast with heavy moves, only heavy moves. Psychic is the cheapest one, I believe. Yeah, Blizzard and Hydro Pump are the rest, but you're gonna use it for tanking moves and hitting back with heavy moves that can grab shields or just finish off the opponent, whatever they might have. Not a lot of tanks in the current meta, and the tanks that exist are pretty weak to the water typing. So water typings are more like a core breaking role for the meta, but not a meta defining role. Okay, battlers. Following up, we have the ghost types, and in my opinion, those Pokemon, whatever you pick from here is gonna be your meta defining pick. So we have Dusclops, which is a thick, spammy monster. It has access to Hex, it has access to Ice Punch or Fire Punch, but you have to use Shadow Punch no matter what. It doesn't hit a lot your opponent, but it is super spammy and it can easily get out of hand, so your opponent might not expect some back-to-back moves. It can even get to almost a triple Shadow Punch pretty fairly fast. So why not use that Pokemon to tank the moves, hit back easily with spammy movesets, and just take shields or whatever, and you're not gonna use any shield at all. You might get farmed down in the end, but still Dusclops does a lot of work even as a safe switch. Gourgeist is also gonna be here. You can always use a small average towards your advantage, but large or super, they are just gonna be a little bit better because they are more attack wise and the other two are more defense wise. So because of the fact that this Pokemon relies on its charge attacks to deal damage and it has a lot of heavy charge attacks, perhaps you need a better attack stat, but who knows, a defensive one might be always the key. So run your own test, use PvP or whatever else you might like, do some practice battles, and perhaps you will find your own Gourgeist out there. I repeat, large, super are gonna be my recommendations, but you'll always use small or average. I don't think that the differences are too many, but you're gonna spot some with your efforts as well. Alola Marowak, which is the fire ghost type of this part of this group, is gonna be a spammy one. If you can bait correctly with Bone Club, you're just gonna be in the best position ever. But you can always use Hex Fire Blast because that combo is also not expected by the opponent. So perhaps you can land a Fire Blast on a match and your opponent might just be, oh wow, I just got Fire Blasted. What happened over here? My water type just got obliterated. Yeah, even a Fire Blast can obliterate a Pokemon like water. So that's all for the mighty Ghost Mom over here, and now let's focus a bit on the Gengar. Gengar is the weirdest of them all. It does not have quite what you need to finish off the opponent, but Focus Blast and Psychic gives it access to the meta. Do not use it for Focus Blast or Psychic currently. I prefer Slatrum and Shadow Punch, to be honest, and Shadow Claw is gonna be your way to go for the fast move, but Gengar is super spammy as well, and Shadow Claw is just gonna be a better version of that Dusclops because it deals more damage, it is more spammy, it actually charges up your Shadow Punch fairly at the same rate, so you're gonna be in a very good position with Gengar. However, Dusclops is bulkier, but Gengar will deal more damage, so as a closer, pick Gengar. As your heavily tank, pick Dusclops, and if you want some coverage in your team, just pick Gourgeist or your Alolan Marowak. Trainers, the next one is gonna be the fighting type group. We have here a lot of Pokemon, but I have picked only the top 5 of them, and if you want something like that can beat the water types, yeah, I would go for Surfetched or even Chestnut because Superpower helps against the meta, and yeah, you have grass moves that can hit those water types pretty much effectively. Also here we have the Machamp, which is a fairly good Pokemon to use. Yeah, Machamp is gonna be number 1 on the rankings of PvP, but it has access to Rock Slide and Payback, which can hurt even the Ghost types and the Flyers, so that's another good fighter for you. The Sludge Bomber, Mud Bomber, or even the Bomber, as I like to say it, the Toxicroak is gonna be the fighting type that you need against Steel and Fire Pokemon, and as we said before, Fire Ninetales and Steel Leaks are gonna be in the meta, so why not consider Toxicroak as your Pokemon to use? And then you have that Primeape. Primeape has access to Night Slash, it has access to Ice Punch, it can threat both Ghost types and the Flying types, and yeah, I enjoy that Pokemon. And if you can get the boost, you can still go pretty hard against anything, you do not care, just go straight Night Slash on anything, just gonna succeed. With that said, fighting types are gonna be the most hateful of the meta, because you either go good or you either go bad, and you can do nothing about that, you just throw the move and pray that it succeeds. Following up, trainers, Generalists / safe switches are gonna be our next group. We have here the Dragonite, which is pretty much covering the entire meta, so a very good safe switch. Fairy types are not gonna be around, also Ice type moves are not gonna be around, and this Pokemon will cover your team pretty much effectively, so a very good Generalist to use, but it is too fragile, so consider that. With Silph as a leader, I think it is the best leader in the meta right now. So Dragonite, yeah, pretty solid option. Skarmory, another flyer, but this one is still, and it can be Dragonite for sure. It resists a lot of Pokemon in the meta, it can take down a lot of neutral threats. It has access to Brave Bird, so as a closer it can also work, a really huge deal, but if you gather a lot of those flyers, something like an electric type will finish you off. And speaking of electric types, we have Luxray and Galvantula. Yeah, you might wonder, okay, Galvantula it's fine, we're gonna talk about it in a while, but Luxray? What? Okay, this one has access to Psychic Fangs, and it can help a lot even against the fighters. And you saw before that fighters are gonna be around, and also Psychic Fang will debuff your opponent. As a safe swap, I believe that this boy, this bad dog, I can say, it is a dog, right? Not a cat, I believe, is gonna go crazy as a safe swap. It can debuff the opponent, hit hard with Wild Charge or even Crunch, because if you're expecting the opponent to use something like a Steelix, yeah, go for Crunch. You're gonna do a lot of damage no matter what. Snarl is just gonna help you go crazy with your charge moves, and yeah, that's all for that Luxray. Now time for the Galvantula. Galvantula is another debuffer, but this time lands, which is a bug type move. The lance is gonna do a lot of damage to whatever and still debuff the opponent. This is one of the moves that I strongly believe must be nerfed down damage wise, because no matter what you do, you either take a lot of damage or just get destroyed by the debuff. So wow, Niantic, do something about that. Anyways, this Zarge will also do a lot of damage, because this Electric Spider has a lot, I mean a lot of attack weighted stats, and alongside with Luxray it's pretty much fragile, so using Shield is also gonna be super good for you, but after the debuff you can always tank one, so why not? Land's a very good move. And next you have the double normal over here. I would go for the Vigoroth over that Zangoose, because Vigoroth is the king of the safe swaps. Whenever you have a Vigoroth in a meta, yeah, most likely it is gonna be a safe swap king. So Vigoroth, totally recommended to you trainers, since it can go pretty spam against anything. Counter Body Slam, just your way to go against anything. It can even finish off ghost types like Alamarwak and Gengar because of the Bulldoze. So a lot of coverage, a lot of safe picks in the current section, but Vigoroth is gonna be the king. And then you have Zangoose, which is the most powerful, I believe, of those other safe switches / generalists over here, because Shadowclaw does a lot, Zangoose does a lot in total, and you have access to Night Slash, which can hurt the ghost types, and Close Combat, which can hurt even whatever. Even if it's not very effective, it's just gonna obligate the opponent. And if you're wondering about the debuff on your defense stats, don't be worried about that. I would not be worried, because still Zangoose can go for another one, and its defense is not that high overall anyways. Battlers, here now we have the coverage slot 5. What does that mean though, Ganeto? Well, you have Pokemon that can get obliterated by other groups, but they also obliterate some other groups. So let's say that we have the Noctowl here. It gets destroyed by electric types, but it destroys the ghost types. They're not like the Generalist that can go fairly well against anything with a lot of neutral matchups. They are most likely gonna wall or get walled. So they mostly are used for bench pressure, and you're gonna see that Noctowl especially is specializing to that ghost typing and fighting finish off. From the fighters it also takes neutral damage because it's part normal, but the normal typing helps a lot against the ghost type, so you're just gonna farm down that Gurgeist all the way down, and then your opponent will be, oh my, that Noctowl has 100 energy, I have to use 2 seeds on my backline, and you're gonna be in the best position ever. As we said about 2 or 3 times in the video, Steelix and Ninetales are gonna be super high on the rankings, so having them on your team is only gonna be good for you. Of course, Pokemon like Steelix are gonna be destroyed by waters and fighters, but they can beat anything else because Ghost, Electrics, Normals, Flyers are just gonna be its food, its trait, yes, something like that, because Crunch is just gonna use, you're just gonna use it for super effective against Ghost, Earthquake, against anything, and Dragon Tail is gonna be awesome for you. If you want some water coverage and perhaps flying coverage, I really recommend using Thunder Fang. Thunder Fang on Steelix will not charge up that easy your moves like the Dragon Tail, but it is still gonna do a lot of damage to the opponent, pressure them down, and you can get to those moves not at the same rate, but you're gonna use them fairly at a good rate. Yeah, why not? Use Thunder Fang on your Steelix if you want more water coverage, and your opponent may be surprised about that. Ninetales, on the other hand, the Cantonian, because the Alolan is not allowed at all, the Cantonian is gonna be a spammy fire type. You can also use it with Psyshock, but I have a feeling that the Cantonian Ninetales in the meta, it's just gonna be like a closer for the current meta, since it has access to Overheat, and Overheat will deal a lot of damage even to the water types, which is resisted, and also Fire Spin with your Weather Ball Fire is just gonna be an amazing combo to use to whatever, grab the shield and then finish them off with an Overheat at the last second, so they will be, oh my, what was that? Yeah, Faker, what did you do? Something like that. Also you have Electrify, which is another electric type, which is not like its Generalist counterpart. Why is that though? Because it is even Glacier, and it has access to Wild Charge and Ice Punch, which can threat the flying type moves and also the entire meta, but it gets easily countered by Pokemon like Steelix and Gliscor. Speaking of Gliscor, here we have it. Its only weakness is gonna be the ice typing and the waters. Ice is not gonna be around a lot, but the water is gonna be. So if water was not around, perhaps Gliscor was gonna be the king of the meta, but it exists, and this Pokemon can deal super effective to ghost types with its Night Slash, super effective to fighters with its wing attacks while resisting the counter moves, and also gonna do a lot of damage to the electrics because it's ground, and the flyers will just be a neutral scenario for it. So another good Pokemon to use will be the Gliscor, but you have to take note of the waters. With that said, I think that coverage is gonna be the slot 5, as you're gonna build your team up to the slot 4, and then you're gonna see what your team needs to counter most of the meta. So pick a coverage Pokemon and you're gonna be in a very good way to build up a very efficient team. Last, slot trainers, look at that, we are already in the end of the video, and slot 6 is just gonna be up to you. We have the double up strategy, which will help you if you want your opponent to be in a tough position, not gonna decide what to use, and you can bait them with some bench pressure. For example, you can use always 2 Pokemon from the coverage section. Some people told me before that most teams use Steelix Steelix and Ninetales on the same team, well, that provides some water problems, but you can also pick them as bench pressure. They're pretty high in the meta, the opponents are afraid of them. Also, fighters go pretty well against Steelix and Cantonian Ninetales, but if you can build the rest of the team around those two, you're gonna be in a very good position. And they are pretty high, as we said, about the 6th time already. And yeah, double up, also double water, double electric, as we have here, double fighter, double ghost, or even double flying, whatever you might like. You can use it here as the slot 6 to pressure down your opponent. You already have a very good, pretty good coverage team up to slot 5, but you need 6 Pokemon to participate in, so why not put some pressure on the opponent? Try and use some spice. That is gonna be another option for you. Donphan with the new body slam is also gonna be another Vigoroth safe switch. Why not use that Pokemon as a safe swap? And unlike Vigoroth, it doesn't take super effective damage from the fighters. It loses some damage because body slam is not stab, but not taking super effective damage from the fighters can also help. And you also have access to Earthquake, not Bulldoze, which is a much better move attack wise. So you can just destroy that Alola Marowak much easier than the Bulldozer. Malamar is also gonna be a very good Pokemon. I think it has access to Psybeam, correct me if I'm wrong, and Psybeam can catch off guard even the fighters, because a fighter will expect from a Malamar to get hit by a superpower or foul play, so they will be like, okay, we can take that, there is no reason at all to seal that with my Toxic Rock, and boom, Psybeam. Ooh, what was that? Okay. Psybeam, however, takes a lot of time to build it up, but still you can use it against a fighter. Your opponent will not expect it. And lastly, you have the Jumbluff, which after the community that we get in the middle of February, you might want to have it in your team. Yeah, acrobatics will be a very good move, as it seems. I believe personally that it is gonna be something like an outrage clone, and with bullets you can get there fairly fast. And Jumbluff after the community day might be the key Pokemon that you need. Also, do not be afraid to use something like a Talonflame, which is another good Pokemon that I did not build up in the current infographic, because it is too, and I mean it is too risky to use. It is most likely a coin flipper. If you feel like you can get those moves, those baits with your flame charge and then finish off with your brave birds, just do it, but overall I don't think that it is gonna be too healthy for the meta. But as a slot 6, yeah, just go for it. If you want some coin flips, if you believe in your luck, just go for it. Yeah, why not? So with that said, that's all, trainers. Be sure to take a picture of that. Yeah, got it? Yeah, okay, I'm smiling. Okay, I made some faces. And be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel after those pictures that you have taken. And that subscribe, then that like, that thumbs up that you do really helps me do more videos like this, cover up the meta of the Silph, of the GPL, whatever that might be the reason. And with that said, I will say farewell to you, trainers, and I hope to see you all in the next one. Take care, everyone!